Hey, um, I'm sorry that this took a really long time. I feel really bad about that. And I'm sorry, I don't want to keep you waiting. I didn't mean to. Um, Something I also didn't mean to do was to keep it out of the blue a little bit for so long, or for as long as I did, because, it's not that I didn't purposely want you to know or anything like that. It just happened really fast. Everything that's recently just happened. So, I didn't really ever have a time to, I rarely had a chance to really sit down and think about what was happening and, think about telling people and things of that nature. And so it's not that I didn't want to tell you or that I don't find you, important enough to tell or anything of that kind. I just didn't, I don't know what happened. I didn't let you know. And I didn't know how to, especially because I haven't seen you in person for a little while because we've both been so busy. And so I didn't want to text you it. But here we are, and here I am, and this is what happened, and I'm very sorry about everything. I'm sorry I didn't tell you, and I really mean that. But what happened is, I just started seeing my therapist again. I see a therapist. And I just started seeing her again. We took a short break because she wanted to. She had a lot on her plate, and then, right before school started this year, she told me that she didn't have the time to see me because she was a manager at the clinic that she was working at, and so she just didn't have the time. And so she left me for a couple of weeks, and she came back after she transferred to a different clinic and just became a therapist again, so she wasn't a manager anymore. And she transferred to a different clinic, and then we started talking, and for a short while I didn't really notice it up until I switched jobs. Part of the reason why I went into Holland Hoppers was because I thought it would make me feel better, because for a while I wasn't feeling good. And it didn't. And I was like, okay, this is weird. Why don't I feel any different? And the reason why I didn't feel any different was because I was depressed. And I had entered an episode. And most of the reason why I had entered an episode was because obviously I experienced something very traumatic 7 months ago. And when you experience something traumatic, you go through shock. Most people go through shock. And that's typically short. That's like 6 to 8 months. And that's not true for everyone, but it was true for me. And the shock went away, and then I started, gradually it became more real when my mom first died. It felt like she had gone on vacation, and then over time it felt more real, and now it feels totally real, and I'm not in shock anymore. And that allowed me to dive into an episode of depression. And so what that meant was, I started experiencing a lot of pain. I started experiencing a lack of motivation, really bad body aches, not any thoughts of harming people or myself, though it wasn't too severe, but it was pretty bad. Or I guess I'm still experiencing it. Particularly the body pains. I've never been in this much pain before. I don't know why. I've never experienced it. It's part of grieving. When you lose something that you love or that was important to you, sometimes you can just experience nausea, like something as simple as nausea, or just really, really bad pain, and it sucks. Like physical pain. And so, I think that has something to do with my depression and something to do with the fact that I'm grieving. And I told my therapist that I wasn't feeling so good. And I also told her that because losing my mom was so real and the pain was so sudden and hard, that I decided to stop, remove myself from my life and my memories. That doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense. And it's stupid. But I stopped taking care of myself. I kind of just removed myself from my life. And I kind of removed myself from everything that made me me, including some of the people around me. I removed them from my life, and I didn't socially withdraw as much. I just kind of stopped. I kind of felt like I had become a stranger, and so did everybody. Not everyone, but some people in my life, some important people, because I couldn't save them. Like, I couldn't save most of these people in my family, and I couldn't save them. And that was too hard to deal with and too sudden and difficult, so I stopped. I didn't stop loving them or anything, but I kind of pushed myself away from them, and I did the same thing to myself. And I told all of this to my therapist, and she thought that I was experiencing a severe episode, and that I needed to go to Pine West for the partial adult program. And that really threw me off, and I didn't want to go back to Pine West or go to Pine West. So I didn't do anything about it. She gave me several other alternatives, but she didn't take those seriously, and I gave them some consideration, but I didn't really take it seriously. I didn't want to do anything about it. I didn't feel like I had the opportunity to. I didn't know if anyone would support me, and I didn't know if going to Pine West was necessarily okay, or maybe even the best option. And then I saw her again, and then that turned into her actually telling me that I had to come up with a decision today. And it's funny that she said that, because she didn't really give me an option. I had waited too long. I'd waited a week. Okay, I see her on a weekly basis now. And I've only seen her twice, but it's on a weekly basis. And she then said, okay, well, we have to make a decision today. I'm sorry, hold on. Damn. Anyways, darn it. Oh no, sorry. I missed an appointment today. Or yesterday. I missed an appointment yesterday. Shoot. And this reminded me of it, I suppose. She kind of disregarded all of the alternatives that she gave me, and these alternatives were, get a new psychiatrist, or, get a new therapist, or dialectical behavioral therapy, which is a huge fancy word for just a more intensive form of therapy that lasts a year. You get a new therapist, you go to group therapy once a week. It's kind of like Pine Rest, but outside. And, she kind of disregarded all of these alternatives and said, why don't you just go to Pine Rest? And she made the phone call for me and everything. She would really pushed me into it, and I got assessed. And they told me that I was capable of going to the adult partial program, and this was on Friday. And they said that I had until Tuesday to come up with a decision. And I decided last night, with some talk with my dad, that I should go today and give it a try. so I did. And that was really hard. I had doubts about it. And I should have listened to those doubts. Today wasn't traumatic. Today wasn't sad. It just didn't really work. Well, it was sad, but most of all, it didn't really work. My psychiatrist told me that I might have bipolar disorder, and he prescribed me all of this medication. I have been diagnosed with major depression, and what makes him think that I have bipolar disorder is that once I was, because I do see a psychiatrist as well, once I was prescribed to Zoloft, and the Zoloft acted like Ritalin, like a stimulant, and it's not supposed to do that with people who have major depression. It's not supposed to do that. Right, it's not supposed to do that with people who have major depression. No, I'm sorry, it's not supposed to do that with people who have bipolar disorder. And, for example, during that day, for hours, just sang to myself and laughed to myself. I played soccer. It was in the middle of fall. I sang Tom Petty to myself while playing soccer. I couldn't sleep. And it's not supposed to react. I'm not supposed to react like that. If I have major depression, Zoloft is supposed to calm me down. And that supposedly is a sign that I have bipolar disorder. What's also a sign is that my mother had bipolar disorder, so he thinks that I might have had inherited it. So it's not too obvious, I guess. It's a very mild form of it, but he thinks it's possible that I might have bipolar disorder. And he also thinks it's possible that I might have like an attention deficit disorder. I think we'll just leave that out to the jury. It's not something that I fully understand, and he didn't really have the time to explain it because, we only talked for like 45 minutes. The thing with Pine Rest is that you get these chances to talk with experts, but only for a brief amount of time, and everything is scheduled and everything feels rushed, because it is. And he prescribed me 150 milligrams of Seroquel and 450 milligrams of Wellbutrin, so a full dosage of Wellbutrin. Also, part of the reason why I went back to Pine Rest was because my medicine stopped working. I've been on Wellbutrin. And that stopped working. And the reason why that stopped working is because I'm experiencing a huge neurological difference in my brain. And sometimes when that happens, the medicine stops working. And that's what I think happened. Because I've been depressed versus being shocked. So I realize right now that I'm throwing a lot of information at you. And I feel terrible about that. I do see a therapist. I do see a psychiatrist. And part of the reason why I don't tell people that right away is because I don't think it's the most important part about me. But it's pretty significant, especially right now. And, me telling you this, like, right now, all of a sudden, oh, yeah, I see a therapist, and, oh, yeah, I see a psychiatrist, makes me feel like a shitty friend, and that's probably the truth. It's not that I was purposely trying to be dishonest with you. It's something that I didn't feel was necessary to really talk about sometimes. Because it's not the most important part about me, like I said before. I'm reiterating my statement. So, I'm sorry if you feel betrayed or let out. This is definitely out of the blue and very hard to take. And I can't help but feel like I definitely failed you. And I can't tell you how sorry I am. You deserve to know what was going on. And you're an important person in my life, and I love you so much. There was just so much going on, and it was all so fast. I never took the time to even think about not only telling people, but to think about really what was best for me. So, all of it felt rushed. All of it felt really scary, and I'm sorry. And I should have let you in because I value you, and I value your opinion, and I could have used it. But instead, I just kind of went with it. I went with the flow, and it turns out that the flow was too fast and too intense. But I didn't know the difference, supposedly. I decided the adult partial program is is a 3 to 5 day program. I decided not to go back today. I don't need to go to Pine Rest. I just need to go back to my psychiatrist, and I need to go back to my therapist, and that's that. And I feel like through those kinds of mechanisms, I can get things sorted out easily because they know me better. My psychiatrist has known me for 2 years. My therapist has known me for 4. So, these people know me better and they've worked with me longer. If I might have bipolar disorder, I can work through that. We can work with all this newfound knowledge that might be useful in the future. We can work with specialists. I can work to try to get a new diagnosis if I seek one, if we think it's necessary. If I might have attention deficit disorder, we can work with that. I have this newfound knowledge, and that's probably the best thing that I walked away with today, is the possibility that I might have been misdiagnosed when they told me I had major depression. Again, yeah, that's kind of a bitch, but you do what you do with what you've been given, I guess. I want to say that, again, I love you a lot. My life feels full with you in it, and I can't imagine my life without you. I thought about everybody today. I thought about you, Tierney, Mackenzie, my family, and how much I love you all, and how much I feel like I've let all you down. And by going to Pine Rest, and I'm sorry, and how much I let you down by not letting you in. I thought about that every day, and I think about it all the time. I don't know what you're going to do with all of this information. I don't know how you're going to view our friendship. I want to continue being your friend. I love you. You're a great person, and you're a lot of good things are happening to you right now, and I don't want to be the thing that brings you down. Do whatever. It's up to you. I understand that. This was definitely a branch, but I'm willing to cross it and come out not empty-handed. And I think you are too, but I could be wrong. I thought you should know, and I didn't think texting you or sending you a Facebook message about it would be good. I thought that this was probably the most proper way to do it. Weird, but proper. I don't know what else to say. Other than, I'm sorry. I hope that you're doing okay. I'm doing okay. Everything's gonna be okay. I think. I hope. Probably. Yeah. Everything's gonna be fine. Yeah. Right? Well, not everything. Hopefully. That's a hope with everyone, That's a hope with life, that everything's gonna be fine. I suppose everything will be fine if I make it fine. And that's definitely a challenge that I'm willing to take on. And with you, I can do that. I'm rambling, so I should really go.